Good evening. Call to order. Call to order the meeting tonight at 6:01 p.m. It's Jason Ortiz with Matsu, Borough. If there are no objections, I'd like to move the Pledge of Allegiance to right now and do that first. Any objections from anybody? No objections, Stafford? Chris, any objections? No objections? All right.
No, sir.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I believe Commissioner Allen is going to be calling in, or maybe not here. Just one moment here. So I don't know if we're going to have Commissioner Allen. And I would like to welcome the new Planning Commissioner member, Doug Glenn. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting your name in the hat and for joining in on here. And we need to do a roll call. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Clerk, Alex Strawn. Doug Glenn.
Here.
Rick Allen is not present, but hopefully he will be joining us later. Patricia Chesbro.
Here.
Chris Elder.
Here.
Stafford Glashen.
Present.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. And do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Nope. Okay, motion's approved. Moving on. So we do have to discuss the elections. We have two vacancies, chair and vice chair. Is there a nomination out there?
I nominate Commissioner Glashen for chair.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I would like to.
Commissioner Glasson, are you okay with accepting that?
Chair, through the chair, yes, I am. I travel a lot for work and I'm COVID paranoid, so the vice chair may have a fairly heavy workload this year, but I am acceptable.
Okay, well, then we do have a new chair, and I guess I will turn the gavel over
Are
to
we going to
you.
vote? Do we need to vote?
Oh, there's no objection. I'm sorry, is Commissioner Elder, is there any objection to that?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. Perfect, thank you. I'm going to turn the gavel over to new chair, and I will let you take it from here, and we'll go ahead and go into the process, same process for the vice chair.
This gavel looks pretty old. Do I have a motion for a vice chair?
I'll make a motion for Patricia for vice chair.
We have a motion for Commissioner Chesbro to be the vice chair. Do we have a second?
I would like to second that, please.
A second from Commissioner Elder for vice chair. Is there any objection to Commissioner Chesbro being vice chair? Hearing none, the motion carries. Do I have to hit the hammer? Oh, yeah. I get used to this. All right. On the consent agenda, we have the minutes from the December 6th, 21 meeting. Are there any comments on the consent agenda? Mr. Strawn?
So the consent agenda consists of the minutes and then also the introductions. So
I need to read.
you can either read into the record or you can have the clerk read into the record. It's up to you.
I'll give it a whirl. I'm going to bring my reading glasses next time.
Okay.
Also on the consent agenda, introduction for public hearing legislative matters, PC 22-01, resolution of the Matanuska-Susitna Planning Commission recommending approval of an ordinance repealing 17.68 outdoor shooting facilities. Public hearing will be on February 7th. Staff is Mr. Ortiz. Resolution PC 22-02, a resolution of the Matsu Borough Planning Commission recommending the approval of an ordinance amending MSB 17.30 conditional use permit for earth materials extraction activities to allow for an exemption of the 20,000 cubic yards annually without a permit. That public hearing is also on February 7th, and that staff is also Mr. Ortiz. Resolution PC 22-03, resolution of the Matsu Borough Planning Commission recommending approval of an ordinance exempting the Berle landfill from earth materials extraction permit code requirements to allow gravel mining on the property, which has been designated as reserve lands. Sanitary landfill. Public hearing also on February 17th, and also staff is Mr. Ortiz. I assume by Berle landfill, that means central landfill?
That's correct.
So is there any objection to approving the consent agenda? Hearing none. Mr. Alder?
No objection.
As such, the consent agenda passes. All right, we have no committee reports, no staff reports, no land use classifications. So that brings us to audience participation. Mr. Clerk, do we have anyone signed up for audience participation?
Sounds like we have someone on the line.
All right, what's the number? Phone number ending in 5472. Can you hear us? 5272?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yes, we can hear you. You have
Can you hear
3
me?
minutes. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Sure. My name is Jeffrey Hesse. My last name is spelled Hesse. I'm a member of the TELEPHONIc Community Council, but I'm here speaking personally. I'd like to request the public hearing related to MSB 17.30 be delayed from February 7th to give the TELEPHONIc Community Council adequate time to prepare for public comment. As it stands, the February 7th meeting will happen right before our next scheduled meeting, and I do not feel it provides us adequate time to prepare. That's my comments.
Can you please spell your last name again, please?
That'd be H as in Howard, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, and E as in Edward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak at the public meeting?
Mr. Chair, there's no one else on the line.
All right, hearing and seeing none, I close the audience participation. We have no public hearings tonight. We've got some correspondence. Mr. Strawn or Mr. Ortiz, would you like to describe that?
Yes, give me one moment. The only thing that we had on here is there was a decision from the BOAA. The decision from the Planning Commission was upheld. So we do want to advise the Planning Commission members that do not talk about anything regarding anything of that, of the case number listed there for, that's listed here on our correspondence information. Don't discuss anything, any fact-finding missions, anything at all. It can be appealed, and anything that is said or here could affect the case. So just keep that all in mind, and that's the only thing I wanted to talk about that.
All right, no unfinished business. New business. Based on public comment, is there any desire to change the hearing date for resolution PC 22-02?
Through the chair, is there, what would be the way to do that? I mean, that would mean that it would be a March 7th meeting, correct? Because there's no meeting on the 21st of February. Is that correct? somebody tell me how that might work if we if we did that. Can we do that?
I can take that. Okay, so there's, I think, a couple different ways that this board could go about doing this. One way, if you did want to delay that, you could simply pull it from this consent agenda and have it introduced at the next agenda. That would push it back to let's see, February 21st meeting. That would still, I believe, get it back to the assembly. No meeting. Oh, so March 7th. So I would need to check as to whether that would meet. I think that still meets the 90-day time frame that the assembly allowed for review of this, but I would need to check. I guess we have it.
Mr. Strawn,
Yes.
could we have a meeting on March 21st, even though there's not one scheduled?
It's February 21st,
Or
and that's
February
President's
21st?
Day. It's a holiday, so no.
Today's a holiday.
It's not, the borough does not recognize
Yeah.
this holiday. Yeah. But borough staff will not be working on that day. So I think that would be difficult to do. So let me just look real quick
These were
here.
referred in early December, so I don't believe a March 7th date might be at day 90.
Yeah, so let me see here. This was agenda of December 7th. So it would be,
It'd be 91 days,
right.
so it would have to be heard at the February 7th in order to make the 90 days.
Now we could do a special meeting. That's something that this board could certainly do to meet on that. And then you could leave it on here and then just, you could hold a public hearing and then just simply carry it over to the next meeting. You know, you can postpone decision on it for a whole nother meeting, but that would push us up on the 90 days. So that gets tricky in there.
Through the chair. So how would we have how could we schedule a special meeting? Could we make a special meeting on, say, the 28th of February, which would be within the 90 days, and it would give the Talkeetna group a chance to respond? Would that, I don't know anything about, I don't know that we've ever had a special meeting since I've been on, but I don't know how to do that, I guess.
Well, I think the board just votes. They make sure that the clerk is okay with it and it works for scheduling. I'm the clerk today. So I think it's okay. I'm not aware of any reason why February 28th at 6 p.m. wouldn't work. And I think since this has been advertised, I'm not exactly sure how that would work. I think you could modify the public hearing date on this. But I think another option here would be at our next meeting, which would be, oh, we can't, right. So, well, no, we could introduce it at the February 7th meeting. So we could remove it from this agenda and then introduce it at the February 7th meeting.
Chair would like to entertain a motion to remove PC 22-02.
So
From the
I move
consent
that
agenda?
we removed PC 22-02 from this consent agenda and put it on the consent agenda of the 7th of February.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
So Commissioner Elder, it has been moved and seconded to remove PC 22-02 from the introduction from public hearing for legislative matters from the February 7th, 2022 meeting. Is there any objection to the motion?
No, sir.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. There is no objection.
Now we need a motion to add a special meeting.
I move we add a special meeting on February 28th to deal with resolution PC 22-02 only.
It's been moved by Commissioner Chesbro to call a special meeting on February 28th to address PC 22-02. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Is there any objection to having a special meeting on February 28th to address PC 22-02? Commissioner Elder?
No objection.
Seeing no objection from the board, motion passes. All right, moving back along, commission business. There's some upcoming agenda items in the staff report. Is there anything you'd like to discuss, Mr. Strawn?
Yeah, so as a courtesy to this board, we do produce this memorandum that has upcoming planning commission agenda items, whether they're quasi-judicial or legislative in matter. If that is still useful to people, we will definitely continue to do that. If the board finds that they don't tend to look at that memorandum, it does take some time to prepare. I guess what I would ask is that if there's anybody who finds it useful, and I guess I have a head nodding here from Commissioner Chesbro, but if nobody finds it useful, we would like to stop doing it. But if it is still something that the commission appreciates, we'll continue to produce it. So I'd like to throw that out there.
This is Jason Ortiz. The one thing I did want to say is the reason why this came up is because many times items on there, they get presented to us, we throw them on there, and then we never get to tell you, the planning commission why it was removed. And it could be, we got an application, people remove the application. And so you might see all this whole list of things that are coming in down the pipe, but they never come to fruition. So really it was kind of this this working model of presenting things that's not always accurate. And that was the idea. I was like, why are we even putting this on here? So we wanted to present that to the planning commission to see if you guys truly want it, don't want it, get feedback, see what you guys want.
Through the chair, for me, it doesn't, since we don't have any background or information, it's just a list of things. It doesn't really help me very much to know the kinds of things that might be coming up. So as far as I'm concerned, it can go away.
Commissioner Glenn, any comment?
Yeah, I'd second that. It can go.
Commissioner Elder?
Yeah, I think I agree with my fellow commissioners. I'm okay if it stays or goes, but I understand that it'd be a little less work. So I think letting it go would be fine.
Thank you, Commissioner Elder. Mr. Strawn, you and I talked about this. Since then, especially when we're shorthanded, I see some value for quasi-judicial because I do work especially with gravel extractors. And seeing that there's something coming up, I can distance myself a little bit better and not have to step aside for, appearance of conflict of interest. Once the full board is seated, missing one commissioner isn't a big deal, but now if we miss one, we don't have a quorum. So maybe for a little bit longer till we have a full board, if at least the quasi-judicial ones, if they could stay on there.
We will continue to maintain that list.
Thank you, Mr. Strawn. All right, as we're grinding through this long meeting tonight, Mr. Ortiz, any additional comments?
Through the chair, the only other thing, just the same thing that I've already reiterated. If any items that are potentially quasi-judicial or anything that's can potentially go to appeal, make sure there's no fact-finding missions or any exploratory search on that. And beyond that, no, thank you to the new planning commissioner to this evening. We greatly appreciate your service, and no other comments.
Thank you. Mr. Strawn?
Yeah, I would like to say congratulations to Commissioner Glashan for his chairmanship and all the glory that comes with that. Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Congratulations to Commissioner Chasbro for being vice chair, and hopefully you don't have to do that too often, but I'm sure you'll do fine when you start. And welcome Commissioner Glenn to the board.
I apologize, Madam Legal.
We can blame Jason on that one. I'm just going to reiterate again to make sure that there's no discussion regarding any of the cases, not just the one that's listed here, but especially the one that's listed here. I know that a number of the commissioners were not involved in the underlying process, but that does not mean you may not be involved in the future. So make sure there's no discussion regarding those things. And just for future reference, chairperson is actually capable of calling a special meeting without anybody else.
I apologize. I read most of Robert's Rules for Idiots, but I tried to focus on things that I thought would happen. All right, Mr. IT, do you have any comments? All right, Commissioner Elder.
I don't have any comments at this time, but congratulations, going forward. It's going to be a great year.
Thank you. Commissioner Chesbro.
Congratulations on your newfound power. And welcome to the board, and I look forward to getting lots done. I think we'll have an exciting meeting on the 7th already.
Mr. Glenn.
I appreciate being here. Thank you for your service to this board, and look forward to the opportunity. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to learn. So thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate all of your support in becoming chair. And I was glad to hear from the Talkeetna Community Council that they're keeping an eye on what's going on. And I appreciate having that special meeting to give them a chance to weigh in and lighten our load a little bit on the 7th. And with that, at 6:23, hearing no objection, the meeting is adjourned.